welcome back to Phenomena. This is episode 3 of season 6. Yay! Oh my goodness, so exciting. Today we're back with another cryptid written by our lovely new script writer, John Suarez. Thank you so much, John Suarez. I appreciate you taking over for our lovely ex-script writer, I guess, Griffin, who had other better things to do, obviously. No, I'm kidding. Today we're going to be talking about Banshees. Ooh, Banshee hers? Yeah, I don't know much about Banshees at all. I think Jodelle or Ruben or someone in one of our other scripts like mentioned it and said like scream like a banshee. And I, for some reason, thought it was like old Western bandits. I don't know where I got that from. No idea. But then I realized that banshees were kind of like cryptids. And I guess they're like ghostly women that scream. Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, that's why I added it to the topics list, because I want to learn more. So come on this journey with me. Yay! I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm your host, Mimi Dibbs. Let's dive right in, shall we? Let's learn about the Banshee, Ireland's harbinger of death. What? Do they scream like, someone's died? Oi, someone's dead. Tonight, we're heading deep into the mist-covered hills of Ireland. Ireland, I'm so excited. To talk about one of the most chilling figures in all of folklore, the Banshee. Yeah, okay, definitely let me know. Comment below, if you will, if you know what the Banshee is before we're about to dive in. Because if you do, then you know more than I do. Because truly, I didn't know about Banshees until I realized I was completely wrong. Most people have heard the word. Maybe you've even used it yourself. Screaming like a banshee. Yeah, see? Okay, apparently that's a saying. It's an idiom. But how many of us actually know what a banshee is, where she comes from, or whether anyone alive today might have heard her? I don't know. That's actually a good question because, yeah, I just asked, like, does anyone know who she is? Who Banshee is? Because here's the thing, unlike dragons or sea monsters, the Banshee wasn't just a creature of legend. For centuries, ordinary people in Ireland swore they heard her wail outside their homes, and then someone inside would die. Oh no! What? What? So she is the harbinger. She would literally yell and then someone died? She the Grim Reaper? She's the Irish Grim Reaper. Yikes. So buckle up. Tonight we're asking, is the Banshee a myth, a warning, or something we still don't fully understand? Yeah. I feel like this so far, out of all the cryptids, like, I don't know. Every other cryptid like has had a sighting, whereas this one is like, you hear her and then something happens immediately after. And like, I wonder how consistent that is, because that's creepy, that's spooky, that's weird, that's wild. I don't know. That's real crazy. Quick pause for Phenomennouncements. Today, I really want to shout out a good friend of mine that I met while I was getting my hair done at my hair salon, which is Bleached, if you don't already follow them on Instagram. I think I shouted them out another Phenomennouncement, a couple of Phenomennouncements ago, if you will. She was getting her hair done at the same time that I was getting my hair done, and she was talking about Pokemon, and I was like, oh my God, Pokemon, yes. And then we just like nerded out about Pokemon. And she does like commissions. She's an artist, a digital artist. She's so freaking good. In fact, look at this drawing she made me. She was like, what's your favorite Pokemon? I said, Mimikyu. And she made me this. It like literally, like the detail in it is so good. She's so amazing. She's well, okay, so this is her like commissions Instagram. It's xsun_licorice, spelled LYCORISX. So xsun_licorice. But then her like actual Instagram, like for her, is xbutter_fingers. Lots of X's and underscores. But yeah, check her out. Follow her account, and then also follow her art account, because she recently started her art account. And I was like, girl, you should do like commissions, because she's so good. And there is truly such an audience of people who probably have a favorite Pokemon. So reach out to her if you have a favorite Pokemon and you want something as dope and awesome as the commission she made me, because she truly is so talented. Like this, she just made it out of her mind. She just like sees the drawing and then makes it. And that's true artistry, in my opinion, because I'm really good at like copying, hence why my favorite Pokemon is Mimikyu. That checks out. But I'm really good, like, in terms of drawing, I'm good at seeing something and then drawing it exactly. But, like, I can't draw from my mind. But she could just, like, draw from her mind, dude. That's talent. I don't know. Definitely check her out because she's amazing. Now, back to the lore. Let's start at the beginning. Good place to start, I would think, with what the tradition actually says. The word banshee comes from the Irish bean seedhe. Seedhe? Bean? Seedhe. Bean, spelled like bean, and then S-I-D-H-E. How do you pronounce that? I don't know. Seedhe? Seedhe? Which literally means woman in the fairy mound. Wait, I love it. Wait, is she a fairy? She was a fairy. No. Well, but she seems like, I don't know. I always thought she would like appear as like ghostly. So, but woman in the fairy mound sounds really fun. In Gaelic mythology, the Seedhe, pronounced she, oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. It's not pronounced Seedhe. It's pronounced she, which that's Gaelic for you, I guess. I don't speak Gaelic, nor can I read it, clearly. But the she were otherworldly beings believed to inhabit the ancient burial mounds scattered across Ireland. Yeah. Okay, that checks out because ancient burial mounds and she's kind of ghostly, so I get it. I like it. I'm with you. These weren't cutesy winged fairies. They were powerful, sometimes terrifying entities tied to the land and to the dead. Okay. So what we initially thought, which was they're spooky ladies, is true. And I don't know why they were known as the women of the fairy mound, but maybe that was like, clearly, they meant like death fairy. I don't know, that's pretty metal. It's pretty punk rock, if you ask me. The banshee herself was said to be a spirit. Sometimes she appeared as a young woman, sometimes as a haggard old crone. Not the haggard old crone, Suarez. Not the haggard old crone. I swear, if anyone calls me a haggard old crone, I'll show you, haggard old crone. Get off my lawn. Her sole purpose was to herald an imminent death. She didn't cause it, to be fair. She announced it. Okay. That is different. There's a big difference there. And she did so with a sound described in old accounts as somewhere between a moan, a wail, and a scream, a cry said to shatter glass or hearts. Maybe and hearts as well. Because, like, you hear that, your glass shatters, and then someone dies, and then your heart shatters. It's so sad. But I wonder, like, if you hear it, it's kind of like, do the people that are about to die also hear it? Does everyone? I don't know. I guess let's read on. Crucially, the banshee was believed to be attached to specific Irish families, particularly those of ancient Gaelic lineage. Oh, was she like the Grim Reaper for ancient Gaelic lineages? I guess. The names most commonly mentioned in tradition were those beginning with O or Mac, O'Brien, O'Neill, O'Grady, McNamara. Ooh, really good book by Michelle McNamara. All Be Gone in the Dark. It's about the Golden State Killer. It's really, really good. Highly recommend it. And yeah, her last name's McNamara. These were the old bloodlines, and the banshee, it was said, followed them across generations. She wasn't a random omen. She was loyal. Devastating, but loyal. Aye, she's a loyal broad. Not me calling her a broad after yelling at Suarez for calling her a haggard old crone. Whatever, it's fine. What did she look like? Accounts vary. Some describe a beautiful, pale woman with long silver hair dressed in a gray cloak. Okay, interesting. So none of her is like black or dark or like she doesn't like blend into the night. It sounds like she's like the white lady, right? Like, or silver. There's a lot of silver about her. Gray cloak, silver hair, pale. Others describe a hideous figure, hollow-eyed, with mauled hair and nails like talons. In certain versions, she appears by a riverbank washing bloodied clothes or a burial shroud, a figure sometimes called the washer at the ford. The washer at the ford! And if you recognized your own clothing in that pile, you knew you were next. Whoa! That's crazy. Why was she was washing the bloodied clothes? What? So, like, what if I, like, saw her washing a bloodied shirt and then I saw that shirt and I was like, wait, that's my shirt. Then I went home and it wasn't bloodied yet. Okay. Got it. Interesting. Whoa. Okay. So, that concludes the lore. Let's get into the theories. Okay. So, where does reality end and legend begin? Let's explore 3 angles. I like it. That's good. 3 is a good number. I like it. Number 1, the banshee as literal spirit. Death has a messenger. Okay. Yeah, okay. Spirit / like Grim Reaper, it sounds like. The most traditional interpretation is exactly what it sounds like. The banshee is real. She is a spirit tied to blood, land, and fate, and her cry is a genuine supernatural warning. Wait, oh my God, wait, I just realized that I think during Angel, one of our scriptwriters, Phenomena stories, I think she like heard a weird cry. I don't know. Angel, let me know or let me know if you've ever heard a weird cry, listener. I don't know. But I'm having a weird flashback about reading how there was just a weird cry I don't know. But maybe that was tied to skinwalkers. I don't know. Lots of supernatural beings cry, apparently. So do coyotes. So I don't know. But for believers, the stories are too consistent across too many centuries and families to be coincidence. Okay. One of the most well-known documented accounts in Irish folklore involves the O'Brien clan. Multiple generations reportedly heard the wailing before the deaths of prominent family members, so often that the sound became part of the family's grieving ritual. Whoa. So again, it doesn't seem like people fear her necessarily. I think they fear what she's announcing. She's like the town crier for death. By the time it reached certain households, it wasn't terror. It was almost tradition. Yeah, okay, wow. That's wild. So then I wonder, even if someone was like sickly and in bed or something and they were like about to die, like it was like imminent, and then they heard the banshee, it was just kind of like, well, that's all right. Well, then now we know we only have like a day left or do they die instantly right after they hear the cry? I don't know. I wonder. There's also a striking 19th century account from a British officer stationed in Ireland. Though skeptical, he documented hearing an inexplicable wailing outside his billet. What's a billet? The night before an Irish soldier under his command died unexpectedly. He couldn't explain it. He simply recorded it. Okay. Whoa. So he recorded that, and then maybe the people that read it were like, aye, that's a banshee, all right. That's a banshee. I feel like I could see them making like Irish folklore songs about her. I like that. Okay. What makes this theory compelling is its specificity. The banshee is not a vague ghost story. She has rules. She has loyalties, right? Okay. So the family lineages that start with O or Mac. That's so interesting. Isn't that like all of Ireland? Oh my God. No, there's Kellys. There's some Kellys. I guess Kellys, you're safe. What are some other Irish last names? I don't know. I guess the ones that start with O and Mac are the ones plagued with this banshee. But also, like, isn't that kind of, I don't know. It kind of sounds like it's not scary to them. So, But then, like, some of these people die unexpectedly, right? Because I was wondering, like, what if they're sick and then you hear the banshee and it's like, okay, well, that was confirmed that they were gonna die or whatever. But if some of these deaths are unexpected, that makes it more kind of scary. That would make it seem more like the harbinger of death, if you will. Almost like Mothman. Or that's what people thought, right? But he kind of, Mothman, they kind of screeched or they would show up right before some tragedy happened. So even though Mothman didn't make a sound, they would appear. Interesting. I don't know, I'm just putting this together. Maybe this is like the Irish Mothman. Who knows? She behaves consistently across accounts, and that consistency is either evidence of something real or evidence that the human mind deeply wants death to come with a warning. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Because, like, what if you've grown up all your life hearing about how people heard banshees before an unexpected death, and then, like, what if people then like retroactively heard the banshee, but then thought they heard it before the death, but it was actually after the death? Like, I don't know, but I can understand and empathize with the fact that people want death to come with a warning. Okay, I like it. Theory number 2, psychological roots, grief, and the need to make sense of loss. Yeah. Now let's shift to a skeptical lens. Very good to look at both sides equally. There is a compelling psychological case that the banshee legend, like many death omens across cultures, serves a deeply human emotional function. It gives grief a shape. Yeah. Like the Grim Reaper. It's the Grim Reaper. But she, Banshee. She's a girl's girl. Psychologists studying bereavement have long noted that people frequently report what could be described as an anticipatory moment before a loved one's death, a strange sound, a vivid dream, and an inexplicable sense of dread. Ooh, okay, a vivid dream. I feel like, yeah, people have definitely said that, like, oh, I like dreamt that my grandma came to see me in my sleep and then I woke up and I found out she died. Like, kind of like that. That's really interesting. And yeah, okay. So like an anticipatory moment. That's a fun word, anticipatory. Just something to, it's like when people have a premonition, which we'll actually go over. Premonition is one of the topics that is slated for season 6. So stay tuned for that. That'll be fun. I think Ruben is writing that one. But kind of like a premonition before death in a way. But it's always like a cry or a banshee. I wonder if the banshee is always seen or just heard most of the time, but then some people describe seeing her. Again, it's the whole lady in white thing. Lady in gray. The gray lady? I don't know. Maybe that's why people thought she was old. Because she just grew silver hair. Perhaps. These experiences are common enough to appear across cultures worldwide. The banshee may be Ireland's way of naming that experience, transforming a brush with mortality into a narrative with a figure, a sound, and a meaning. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I'm working on my Irish accent, okay? It's not very good, but we carry on, we learn, we're trying, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. I have family in Ireland, and so I need to be able to do the Irish accent, but it's so hard for me to do, especially because it kind of slips into British. British? I don't know. Rate my Irish accent. Who cares? Also, let me know how to make it better. Let me know how to make it better. I want to be better at an Irish accent. I don't know. There is also the possibility of misidentified natural sounds, wind moving through stone structures, the shriek of a barn owl, which is genuinely blood-curdling and often cited as banshee-like. Wow, okay, yeah, that checks out. And then also like coyotes, but I guess around here, where the banshee is most often heard, it sounds like barn owl makes most sense. Even a low moan of a fox in distress. Yeah, foxes make crazy sounds. I love foxes. They're my favorite animals ever. I love them so much. They're the best. Fennec foxes, oh my God. I love them. I would never have one, to be fair, because they are crack addicts. They're crazy animals. They burrow. They're wild. They like truly, I don't know if a fox will ever be tamed. And you know what? That's retweet because same. But I feel like they just make really crazy wild noises. And like, that's why the song like, what does the fox say? Became popular because no one really knows what a fox sounds like. And then sometimes it sounds like they're laughing. It's wild. It's crazy. Okay. So fox in distress people could have thought they heard the banshee when it was really that. Through a cultural lens already primed to expect an omen, these sounds can take on supernatural weight. Under this theory, the banshee isn't deception or delusion. She's a coping mechanism, a way for communities shaped by famine, disease, and conflict to process loss by giving death a voice before it arrives. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, dude. The Great Potato Famine? Wasn't that like a distinctly Irish thing? Isn't that why they love potatoes? Is that why you love potatoes? I don't know. In that sense, she may be one of the most deeply human stories ever told. I like that. Yeah. I like that it's like it could be a way for humans to really deal with death or feel like they have some control over it, or like a warning symbol, or just kind of a way to prepare for it. So in that sense, she kind of is a hopeful lass. Theory number 3, modern encounters. Is she still out there? What? Here's where things get interesting. People are still reporting banshee encounters. Not in the 1800s. Now. That's so interesting. Is it specific to Ireland? Irish paranormal forums and oral history projects have collected dozens of contemporary accounts from people, many not particularly superstitious, who describe hearing an unearthly wailing near their homes shortly before family members' death. What stands out in these reports is the description of the sound itself. Witnesses emphasize it was unlike anything they'd ever heard before. Not an animal, not the wind, not a human voice. Something else entirely. So like otherworldly sounds, like a shriek or a wail. Whoa. One widely shared account from a woman in County Clare in early 2000s describes waking at 3 a.m. to what she called grief itself made audible. Wow. Oh, wait, I just realized maybe that's why she's wailing, is because she's like so sad that someone's about to die. Or she's, man, that really just like, ugh, that like the sound that guttural sound people make when something awful happens. I would imagine maybe it sounds like that, and that's terrible. Actually, I don't want to. It's such a awful sound. It's scary and like deeply hurt. She said the wailing circled her house for several minutes before fading. Ooh, so like surround sound wailing. You just hear it go all around your house and then fades. That's kind of cool and crazy. Her father died of a sudden heart attack the following morning. She had no idea he was ill. So I guess then the positive thing is that the banshee will prepare you for something you maybe might not have had a warning of otherwise. Or just like to recall it after the fact is really weird, because like, what would you even do if you heard that? Like, someone in this house is going to die. Like it sounds like a lot of these people it almost happens like too quickly. Like you hear it and then you don't even have time to like try to figure out who's about to die. I don't know. This is wild. This is so interesting. I truly have never even heard of banshees or the idiom to cry like a banshee. But I guess this all makes sense given the lore and the history and the theories. Are these stories true, or are they examples of confirmation bias? People connecting an unusual sound to a death that would have recurred regardless. Well, so that's what's interesting is like, is it strictly an Irish thing? Because it sounds like it's strictly an Irish cryptid, right? Would you call banshee a cryptid? Very interesting. I kind of like the way she like appears to look, and the fact that she just like circled a house. That's crazy. That is wild. But yeah, no, I could see how a lot of people that think they've heard a sound before a loved one's death, how it could be confirmation bias. But again, I'd be interested to know why it only happens in Ireland. Like what's going on in Ireland besides beer, besides Guinness? Like, I guess banshees. Like, will people not hear the sound of a banshee warning about a loved one's death unless they're in Ireland or have maybe Irish roots? Is it still only people with the last name O and Mac? I don't know. I'd be interested about that. So yeah, is it confirmation bias and people are connecting an unusual sound to a death that would have occurred regardless? Maybe. But here's what makes the banshee different from many other legends. She never claims to cause the death. She only announces it. This is so Mothman coded. But again, Mothman doesn't make a noise. But banshees, like, it's specific. I don't know. Anything noise related is always weird to me. Like the Taos hum that we covered, or like mimics. We should definitely cover mimics. I really want to get into like what mimics are. Also, speaking of the movie based on the Stephen King short story called The Boogeyman, which it doesn't sound very scary, but it's a very well-made movie, and I think it's pretty scary. And it stars Sophie Thatcher, and I love her so much. She's amazing, and it's really good. And in it, the Boogeyman can like mimic. It kind of works like a mimic in that it mimics the sound of the people in the house, but in this very distorted, creepy kind of way. Like it's like practicing. Ooh, it's like the mimic practices how to sound like your loved one, and that's crazy. That would be a lot creepier if like the banshee could mimic the sound of a loved one screaming and then that person dies. No, but I guess she can just make a noise, and I wonder how many sightings of her there have been versus how many people have heard her. She is not the executioner. She is the witness, and witnesses, even impossible ones, are difficult to dismiss entirely. Interesting. So whereas I wonder if you believe in banshees. In closing, what do you think? Yeah, that was the question I was just asking you. The banshee is one of those phenomena that sits right on the edge, too consistent to be purely invented, too rooted in human emotion to be purely supernatural. Yeah, that is so interesting, because I'm just thinking like, we can, I guess, hear sounds that aren't like really out and about, kind of like the Havana syndrome that we talked about. I think that one was like, we were trying to figure out whether or not people heard the sound, but if it was audible to everyone else or just those people that were experiencing it. So I wonder if the banshee cry is audible in the physical world to like everyone, or just one person, or just a couple of people. I don't know. I guess that's where the phenomenon of it all is. The phenomena of it all. Maybe she's a spirit. Maybe she's grief given a voice. Maybe she's the barn owl outside your window at 3 a.m. Yeah, I mean, all possible. The grief given a voice, that like makes the cry sound so much worse. Oh man, I mean, I knew it was bad, but like, my God, it's just that guttural, like grief. Grief given a voice is heartbreaking, truly. But what she represents is undeniably real. The terror and the tenderness of knowing that death is coming. Yeah, even if it's like unexpected. Yeah, I swear, I feel like there are people that are like, oh, like the days so-and-so died, like I did wake up feeling really strange, and like again, with the people dreaming of their loved ones visiting them in their sleep, and then that loved one ends up dying. Like that's kind of, I feel like, connected to this, where it's just kind of some sort of announcement of death before you are told about it, which is like bizarre. She's not a monster. She's a mourner. And maybe that's the most haunting part of all, that the story Ireland told itself about death wasn't one of a grinning reaper, but of a woman who loved you enough to weep before you were even gone. Wait, I just got chills. That was really well written and really sad. Oh, wow. I didn't even realize she weeps for your death. Because I was always thinking like the person who hears it are the other people. That actually makes me wonder if the person who's about to die heard it. But then I guess like, has anyone right before they died been like, I heard her, you know? I don't know. That's a great way to think about it though, is she's mourning your death before you even know you're gonna die. That's crazy. Whether or not you believe she's real, there's something deeply human in that, something worth sitting with. Yeah, wow. I did not think I was going to get chills during this episode, but man, oh man, that was really well written. Suarez, I'm so happy that you agreed to write for the show. Thank you again. I appreciate you. Suarez famously wrote the Stargate Project episode a couple seasons ago. I mean, we're already on season 6, so this was probably season like 1 or 2, I think. That's crazy. I can't even keep track of it all. So I was just really, really glad that we had someone to reach out to when Griffin decided to explore other endeavors. I was like, who's going to be our cryptid writer? And Suarez really stepped up. And I'm so, so glad you did, because your writing style is so good, and it's so good, and I got chills, and it's so good. Wow. Wow. That was really good. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think that was really, really well written, because I do. And actually, my opinion is all that matters, so never mind. No, I don't care. Just kidding. Use our Expedia affiliate link, expedia.com/affiliate/phenomena/season 6 to book your next trip to Ireland. Oh my gosh, go to Ireland. I have family in Cork, Ireland, and it's near Cork. But yeah, when we go, we land in Cork. But I don't think I've ever been to Dublin, so I don't know that I can do like a Dublin accent. I don't know if I'm even doing an Irish accent right, but that's about as musical as I can make it in terms of it. What Irish people sound like to me. Pokepic. Ooh, Pokepic for this week's episode is Miss Magius. Or Miss Magius? Miss Magus? How do you pronounce it? Miss Magius, I think. The magical Pokemon. I love Miss Magius a lot. Or is it Miss Magius? Because magic, the word magic is almost in there. Anyway, or maybe mag, because it's like a wizard. I don't know. Miss Magius. That's how I used to say it. Miss Magius. Miss Magius. I don't know. Why am I so caught up on the way to pronounce it? Miss Magius, let's say that. Yeah, it's ghost type. I love Miss Magius. Yes. Its cry sounds like an incantation. It is said the cry may rarely be imbued with happiness-giving power. Whoa. Happiness-giving power. So the power gives you happiness. Whoa, that's crazy. Oh my God, I'm definitely going to play her cry now, because I'm sure it's very musical and lovely. Ready? There it was. Oh my God, amazing. Note from the author. This is an easy one. It has to be Miss Magius, a ghostly witch-like Pokemon whose cries are said to sound like incantations and whose wails can bring on either visions or misfortune depending on who hears it. Sound familiar to anyone? Yes. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wait, maybe Miss Magius is like maybe the design of Miss Magius is taken after the Banshee. You know what I mean? But then it also has like a fun little witchy hat on. It even has a trailing cloak-like form that's giving Banshee. Yes, true. A perfect fit for a spirit that communicates entirely through sound. I like it. Yes. Again, wait, one more time for the Miss Magius cry. Chef's kiss. I love it. I'm going to add that in post, but still, I can just picture it now. It's fantastic. Yay, great pokepic. I love this Pokemon. I love this Pokemon. I love this pokepic. I love ghost Pokemon. It's amazing. It's perfect. It's wonderful. Fun fact, Miss Magius is the second form. It's an evolution of Misdreavus. See? Is it Misdreavus? Now I'm curious, but yeah, that's the pre-evolution, which I love as well. But Miss Magius is like, ooh, she's like fully formed. Like she is kind of like, I don't know. She's really cute. She's like purple or like purpley blue. I don't know. I love her though. She's amazing. Yay. We have an email, phenomena.cases@gmail.com. So feel free to email us your Phenomena episodes, or if you knew about the Banshee, or if you want to communicate with us at all in any way, shape, or form. Definitely let me know. You can also visit our Patreon at Phenomena Podcast on Patreon. We post some things for the free tier and then all paid tiers. So far, that's the $2 tier and the $5 tier. If you fancy, if you're making tons of money and you can spare $5, then feel free to sign up, money bags. We have the $2 tier, and that's even less. That's like nothing. That's like nothing, but it's like, it means so much to us. So definitely feel free to check that out because it would be great, because regardless, we post something for the free Patreon. So either way, you get something. You get the pokepic for every episode, as well as my favorite GIF for each episode. And then for the paid tiers, we release the an extra reel, as well as the audio version of the episode in podcast form, if you will. But you can also find the podcast on Spotify and Apple Music. Apple Podcasts, not Apple Music, I guess. I forgot that they like made those two different things. But yeah, Apple Podcasts. I should mention that more often. We're on YouTube, but we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts because we're primarily a podcast. I hope the people that are listening can attest to that. Let me know. But yeah, I feel like YouTube is where we hit it big with fans. Yay, fans. We have 41K subs. Yay. Thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is awesome. It's so cool. It's so great. We're still not monetized because we need to reach a certain amount of watch time hours, but it'll happen. It'll come. Don't worry. That's not why we're doing this, clearly. We're doing it because we love bringing you stories of phenomena, and this is awesome. And I love my team so much. Huge special shout out, just real quick, to Jodelle and Ruben, who helped me start the podcast. They are the two OG co-producers of mine, and then Merrick's, who is our lovely video editor, and they also are a co-producer on that on this show. I was to say that show because they also helped me co-produce Creepers Peepers, which is another show of mine that I'm going to release very soon. I'm working on it. We have 3 episodes down. It's a classic horror movie watching podcast. I'll tell you more about it when it's ready. But basically, yeah. And then of course, Angel and John Suarez, our newest additions, I guess, to our writing team. Yay, it makes me so happy. John Suarez, of course, being the cryptid master. And Angel writes a lot of I give her a lot of the really complicated ones because she knows about them all. I think for next week, well, we'll get to it when we get to next week's topic, but she I think already knew about it. So I was like, okay, great, awesome. Then you write about it because let me know your own personal research on it. But yes, on the Patreon, we also have a Discord. So check that out as well. It's pinned to the top of the Patreon. And you can access that whether you're on the free tier or the paid tier. We have new episodes that come out every Wednesday at 6 p.m. PST. And next time on Phenomena, we'll be talking about the Tunguska event. The Tunguska event. Wow, that's hard to say. But yeah, I think when I saw the script for that come in, I didn't see the script. I just saw what Angel wrote in the email, and it said the terrifying Tunguska event. So I didn't know it was scary, but I guess it's scary because I guess it's terrifying. That's another level above scary. So yeah, definitely tune in for next week's episode if you like getting spooked. But regardless, until then, remember, you can always explore the rabbit hole, right? Without falling all the way down, right? You can explore, you can, what's the word? Spelunk, if you will, But just make sure you have a way to come back out of it so that you're not like, the earth is flat at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, love you. See you next week. Bye.